Welcome to the Art of Shame-Free Living. So today we're going to talk about wealth, abundance, gratitude, and love, and the interconnection between all of the things, because they're actually all the same thing. A friend reached out to me when we were talking about gratitude, and she said, I've tried apps, I've written down gratitude charts, I've written all the things that I'm grateful for. And she said, I just don't know if I'm really getting it. Like, it doesn't feel like I'm getting it. If you want to read a fabulous book, I would suggest the book by Su-Yun Lee called The Having. I think there's a difference between feeling abundance, feeling gratitude, and thinking it, right? It's easy for our kids just to be like, thank you for this day, or I'm grateful for these 5 things in my life that are fun or whatever. But do we actually feel it? I often feel like our work stays up here in our mind instead of landing here in our hearts. The Buddhists call it the heart mind. And I often think like, am I in my heart mind space? Am I really feeling it, or am I just thinking it? So as we're talking today about wealth and gratitude and love and abundance, I want you to be thinking about, am I feeling it? Like, yes, I might understand and agree consciously, but am I actually feeling it? So first of all, I'm going to talk about wealth. I think that there's a connection between wealth and love. I think that to me, it feels the same. So again, going back to the thinking versus feeling, when I started to feel things and feel more gratitude, feel more abundance, feel more love, I noticed that the feeling often felt the same. So when I received more wealth, actual physical wealth, it felt similar to when I'm feeling love or when I'm feeling gratitude or when I'm feeling compassion. There's a lot of the feelings that felt a little bit interconnected. And I had this idea kind of come to mind, and how I vision it is like there's stuff coming in, and it's coming in and through kind of my head and all the way down through my body, and then it's moving out. And that's how wealth feels. When I'm creating wealth, I'm also generous with my wealth. It feels like more and more is coming in, and it's moving through me, and it's moving out. And so often when I think about abundance, that's what I'm thinking about, is like that physical wealth. It's coming in, it's moving through, and it's moving out. It's not stagnating. I'm not just holding it so tightly that nothing comes out. It's also not like this urgent rush of, I don't think any is coming in anymore, so I got to spend it all. That's how wealth used to feel, in one of those two kind of paradoxical sides. But now it definitely feels like I'm just open to receiving it more. It's coming in, it's coming through me, and it's flowing out. So the more work I did on wealth, the more I realized this is how love feels too. Like when somebody's giving me a hug, or they're giving me a compliment, or they're thanking me for something that I did, it feels the same. It's like this big warm hug. It feels like it's coming in, it's moving through me, and it's moving back out, and it's continuously flowing in and out. And so how I view wealth now, and I want to say wealth is more than just physical wealth. I think wealth in relationships. I think wealth in kind of all the realms of our life. What would wealth look like? It all feels the same to me. It feels very tangible. It feels like this feeling that comes in, moves through, moves out, and then that is what creates it. So I think that physical wealth is a physical manifestation of the feeling work that I'm doing, of the feeling coming in and through and out, and therefore then manifesting into reality as a physical, tangible thing. I think the same is true for relationships. I've noticed physical, tangible changes within my relationships as I have allowed more love in. I've given this work to a client before, and I might have shared this on the podcast earlier, but I love it. So take this homework, if you will, and go ahead and do it. And that homework is to allow compliments. So you know how sometimes people will say, I love, that dress that you're wearing, your hair looks nice, or thank you for doing that, or whatever. And we don't really let it land. Even if we say thank you, sometimes we don't actually let it land in our heart. And so I invite you to let all of the compliments land in your heart. All of the love, all of the times people are grateful for you, land it in your heart. Let yourself actually feel the landing of it in your heart. I think the same is for gratitude. I love the word having. That feels a little bit more real to me. There's something about gratitude that feels a little bit too cold or calculated or something. It's like I can't feel it so much. But when I think of having, what are the things that I'm really grateful for or appreciative and have? I think of like the sun on my face on a warm day. I think of the cool breeze. I think of water. I love being in the water. I think of reading a good book. I think of snuggling my kids. And when I'm sitting and really feeling present with that, I can feel the having of that, just as I can with physical wealth as well. So all that to say, I think that they all feel the same. And I think that if we want to create more wealth, we need to allow ourselves to receive more compliments, allow ourselves to receive more love, allow ourselves to even be more vulnerable. Where is there resistance in your life to be more you? Where is there resistance to love? Where is there resistance to being known by others? that my resistance might actually be blocking physical wealth also, because I really think that everything is interconnected. So I would look for, where is that resistance in my life and how can that be a portal to having more? So when I thought about resistance in my life this year, the thing that came up to me was my body, my actual physical body. I did a lot of like spiritual, emotional love work on my body last year. I'll get more into that in a further podcast, but it was miraculous. But now I'm like, okay, so the resistance now is to actually making changes with my physical body. Like I need to do some more movement. I need to do some food changes. And that's where my resistance lies. But as soon as I think about, what if that door that I'm resistant to opening is actually the next level of wealth, abundance, prosperity for myself? Because I've noticed that the other areas that I've been resistant to, as I've opened that up and dug into what's behind that door, more has come in. So I just want to offer that maybe resistance is a door you want to open, and maybe there's something there for you, and maybe it will actually come back and manifest in physical wealth being the tangible kind of byproduct of the energy coming in and coming out. And even if you don't notice any physical wealth, tangible changes like that, I would also, there's no downside to it. There's no downside to letting people love you more, to letting people know you more, to letting people really connect and be there for you more. Even something as simple as somebody like wanting to buy you a coffee or paying for your meal. Do we let that, right? So often we're like, no, let me get it, right? We kind of push that off, but let's let more of that in and just do it as a little experiment and see what happens. I think that there's a difference between really feeling and thinking, right? We can write down 100 things that we're grateful for that day and never feel gratitude. We can write down 100 things that we feel so happy that we have, but not feel the having of them. And so I would invite you to sit with, what does this feel like in my system? How can I do more of the feeling part of it? And that's less of writing down often. That's less of talking it out. That's less of reading books. And that's more of sitting in stillness and sitting in quiet and opening myself up to receiving the feeling, being really present with the feeling. I also wanted to mention, I'm going to talk about this a little bit more next week, also in my manifestation podcast episode, another one, because I just love that topic. But this last year has been very physically abundant for me, physical wealth. I've increased my income by more than I have before. I made more money in my business than I have before. And also more adventures, more fun, more opportunities, more connections, more like amazing people that I've been able to meet. And I think that's not a coincidence. I think that is all letting more of this abundant energy come in and really creating that. And I think it's also made manifestation a little more simple and a little more easy. I think I used to overcomplicate it. What are the things I need to write down, or I need to say, or I need to practice this belief every day? And I don't think it's so much like that. So if you would like to hear more about this, I'm going to be putting on a workshop where I'm going to actually break down my actual income from last year, show you exactly what I made and how I made it. And also how manifestation is not so much about the how. Manifestation is not so much about the actions, but I will talk to you about the energy that created that, because I don't actually think it's the actions. I think that those aligned actions come from the shift in energy. So if you want to come to that workshop, I will have a link somewhere. So find it here and come see me. You can also come to Instagram. It's .crystal.noelle, crystal.noelle, and find me there, and I can send you a link to the workshop. But we're going to be having a workshop on Tuesday, January 20th, and it's going to be all about wealth. It'll be beyond wealth. So more than just physical wealth, but also that. And I'll be breaking down my income, talking to you about manifestation and about how to make it a little bit more easeful and a little bit, just simpler. And I think it's hard because the work is actually in the energy and in the feelings, and that's hard work, but it's simple also. So we'll talk more about that there if you want to come join me, and we'll see you next week. Before we hop off today, I wanted to invite you into my program, Manifest Me. It is a in-depth, integrated process. We're going to be doing a lot of in the body work. It is a process where we're going to be able to find ourselves more, feel more comfortable with who we are. We're going to learn about human design, and we're going to learn about Enneagram, and we're going to learn more about us and our energy and our emotions. And we're going to spend a lot of time in stillness and in silence and sitting with that, which might sound a little resistant, which might sound a little uncomfortable for you, but also it is where the growth happens. I promise you, the body is where the growth and the healing happens. It culminates in a 4-day, 3-night retreat in the Rocky Mountains in Alberta. It includes that. So there'll be a link here that you can go and check that out. But I would love to invite you to come and join us on this beautiful grand adventure. We did it last semester and it was fantastic. We had really great reviews, really great testimonials from the women that joined there. and they felt very different at the end than they did in the beginning. So come and join us if this feels fun and good to you. Sometimes I'll also mention, sometimes my intuition feels a little scary. It feels a little like I'm a little nervous to do that. I'm a little fearful to do that, but it also feels like the right thing. And so just listen for that. If it's not for you, it will not be for you. And you will just know that too. But just believe and trust that you'll know if it's for you, and the timing and the way it will work out for you as well. So come join us there, coachcrystal.ca/manifest-me.